in my
Yeah,
mind. That's
that's
just
what I
where
was
I'm
going to
at.
ask you. What do you think about Black women and wearing hair weaves and trying to live
Honestly,
up
I
to
can't
this?
speak on that because I'm not black.
Uh-oh,
I
Therese.
can't speak on that because I'm not black.
I mean, as a white woman though, what do you think?
Okay, so the only reason, honestly, because when it comes to the color of hair, there are black people who are born blonde, blue-eyed, and that has nothing to do with whiteys. That's that Eve gene. You feel me? So the color has nothing to do with it, but the texture of it, that is literally a white society that is brainwashed and psychological warfare. That's going right back to it. Now, if a woman wants to wear it because she feels beautiful, go for it. But I honestly believe 100% that if whiteys hadn't been doing what they've been doing for as long as they have, that wouldn't even be a thing right now. It would have never been a thing. Just like I learned that it was illegal at one point. I can't remember what time frame. And I say I just learned this. I really it was like a year ago, but this shit just keeps popping up on my Instagram feed. But you know, it was illegal to show your natural hair. It was literally illegal for a black woman to show her natural hair. That's no religious shit. That's nothing else except for white women being jealous that their hair is limp and flat and dead. It was literally illegal. That's where a lot of, you know, like the church hats, that's one of the main reasons why they're so big now too, because it was literally you could not show your hair. And why would that be? Why would that be illegal to show your natural hair? Because white people are jealous. So in my opinion, I don't know why anybody would want to, you know, look white. But I understand it because that's society, sadly, that we fucking live in. And that's why I am the way that I am, because I think it's bullshit. And it makes me fucking angry. Like if white, I honestly believe in this is what irritates a lot of people, but I'm gonna just say it. I believe 100% that if whiteys hadn't done what they've done up until this point, none of what we're experiencing today would exist, period. Period. None of this shit would exist, period. We'd be in a completely different space. Completely different space. These conversations wouldn't even be a thing. Whitey's just sat back and just let shit fucking be. But we are greedy, hateful people. Like, I honestly tell people the seven deadly sins only came into existence when whiteys did. When you really think about it, I mean, just sit and think about it. Rape didn't exist. You know, like none of this extra shit existed until whiteys came up out those damn mountains. Instead of killing us off, they let us live and look what happened. But I mean, that's my mentality. And it sounds like I would hate myself, right? Because how can a white woman know all this and still be okay with herself, right? But it doesn't affect me. And I don't necessarily know why. I mean, it's not me. So I
So do you believe in um do you
my
believe
bad. That was a mouthful. My bad.
no, it's
And
fine. We had this conversation last week about hair. And I know they posed this question to my daughter and I, and my answer was that I really can't really this it's hard for me to even understand um like we talked about hair, and because I've only been in an environment where, you know, the way that I view hair is the way that I view hair. It's hard for me to kind of really be outside of that environment. So what you're saying is probably true. If things were different and
our hair is everything.
if things were different, then maybe we would all be different in terms of how we view hair. But I'm
Well, no,
wondering,
just the
like,
beauty. You feel me? Your hair grows up to that. It literally defies gravity.
oh,
The fuck?
absolutely.
Like,
But you know, it's
it's
interesting.
alive. It's not dead.
Right, but it's interesting because and maybe the manipulation through
Mm-hmm.
using, you
Psychological warfare.
know, not even chemicals, but like if you look at like tribes that are indigenous tribes in Africa, that don't really have contact outside of the, you know, their communities, hair is a big thing, and they still do things to their hair. Their hair is not always just an afro. They braid their
And
hair.
that's not what I'm saying
No,
either.
no,
You know,
no.
like the Egyptians, they
Right.
found
They do
weaves
things.
and shit, but it was all their own hair.
Oh,
You feel me?
right.
It was
Right.
hairstyles
Right.
and shit with their own hair. You
Right.
know, it wasn't
Right.
white hair that's just limp. And don't even get it twisted though. A black woman can pull off anything and they look damn good with whatever they have on their head. So I mean, it is, if you feel beautiful, then do what you do. I feel beautiful with no hair. You feel me? And as a woman, that's kind of taboo. If you don't have hair, you're confused or you're
Or
gay.
liberated.
That part. When I shave it, I just feel like a brand new woman.
Yeah, we mentioned. So my question is now, do you, I mean, how much of this do you believe is that our existence, and when I say existence, I'm talking about everyone's existence, is a process? Like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to formulate this. So sometimes in order for people to recognize, like there are ebbs, like, you know, things can, you know, there are ebbs and flows, like things go up and down. There are times when things are up, there are times when things are down. When things are down, a lot of times when you're at your most vulnerable point is the time that you recognize the most about yourself, recognize who you really are. So I'm wondering, in the whole scheme of things, how much of this do you believe is what, as a people, we've needed to recognize? We got to a point we needed to recognize this. So we had to get to such a time as this to recognize who we are, to have these conversations that we're having, and that this is part of us understanding our God self, like who we really are. Like you understand, like I'm just saying in the big scheme of existence, in terms of, you know, things have happened and we were, you know, so we think about Atlantis, and at a time where people were like supposedly at the top, doing the best, and then they fell, and then they rose. Like, so we rise, we fall, we rise,
Everything's
we
gonna
fall.
topple.
Right.
The revolution will not be televised.
Exactly. So, but we won't
it's about to happen.
So in order to have a revolution, you've got to have the, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
And that's what we in right now.
Exactly.
You feel me? I mean, it's been going on for a minute, but I mean, it's about to happen. That's why white people are getting so antsy. You feel me? Because they feel it coming. And the thing is, I read something too somewhere where this guy was like, I asked my white friend, why do white people feel so uncomfortable around black people? And the whitey responded, because they know if the tables were turned, they would have burned this bitch down a long time ago. And that's 100% true. That's why they getting so antsy. You feel me? So I mean, it's gonna get a lot worse than it gets better. And I mean, I'm just sitting patiently. You feel me? And I mean, and that's one of those things, at the end of the day, no matter what I say and no matter how I am, I'm still a whitey. So I mean, if it's one of the, I was joking around, we should just make all the white people live in Texas. You feel me? Texas already wants to secede from the country, so just let their asses do it. It's big enough. All the white people can go ahead and fit in there, because all the numbers is wrong. All these census numbers are fucking wrong. White people are not the majority. Period. We are not the majority, and we have not been for a while. Like, when I first left Texas, California was more than 50% Latino. I think it was 51 and something Latino. And now all of a sudden, it's like, what, 20 something percent Latino, and then everybody else, and then like 80% or like some crazy outrageous number. You are a damn lie. That is not true. It's all an illusion. And that's how you know. I mean, and you know that how horrible of a species you need to be for nature. This isn't even another race or another people killing us off. This is literally nature. This the earth is literally killing us off. because we are a fucking virus. So I mean, it just it is. I just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Exactly. It's just silence. It's true. I mean, nobody wants to talk about it, but now they're saying that everybody. It's everybody. It's not just the white people. It's not everybody. It's just the white people.
That brings me to a question. I'm thinking about this coronavirus. You know, when you start speaking about numbers and fabrication of numbers, and what do you think about the coronavirus?
Honestly, I mean, so how my brain works, right? So I gather knowledge, right? And I don't put anything out necessarily straight out the gate, right? So I get little pieces of information here and there, and then it's just like this big kind of web, right? And then when a little bit of information pops up, then if it's correlated with something else that I've seen, then I'll go ahead and group that together, right? And that's just how my brain works. So with what I'm saying, this has been little bits and pieces of knowledge here and there, like little information that has given me the opinion that I have right now, right? So I think it's all bullshit. I think it's another fucking experiment. You know, I think it's a way. So, all right. How I dumb it down for white people, right? Because you have to dumb it down for white people. You have to, because they can't grasp the majority of shit. So how I dumb it down, and I feel like it's a little disrespectful, but then at the same time, I gotta have some kind of metaphor or analogy for these dumbasses. So I put it in terms of a relationship, right? You're with this man or this woman. You're the person who's doing everything you're supposed to do, right? You're being the bigger person, and you're, in my case, right, it's a guy. So this guy is going out and he's cheating on me. He's going behind my back. He's making me look stupid. He's gaslighting. He's being dismissive. He's doing all this extra shit. When I try and talk about it and actually speak, I don't argue. I don't, cause waves. I just bring up, this really hurt me. Oh, well, this is what you do, and this is what you do, and you do this, and you do that. That is literally on a bigger scope how I see this shit going. Black people are literally saying, don't kill us. Please stop killing us. White people are going, but, okay, what is that but supposed to be for? And that's how I try and dumb it down for these white people, so they can explain, oh, that is actually really fucked up. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is really fucked up. Like, now how would you feel? You feel me? Oh, okay. All right. I kind of get it now. No, but see, you kind of get it, but you don't all the way get it, right? You're just getting a little tip of the fucking iceberg with this shit. But like the COVID, I think it's the same thing. They were surprised that it wasn't being affected in Africa. None of those countries in Africa were affected by this fucking virus. And they were so pissed and perplexed and surprised and just like, what? And the only times that there was a case of COVID over there was a whitey that traveled there, like on purpose to infect other people, and it didn't happen. So now India has some crazy unknown virus that I guess just made like over 300 people sick or some shit. And now all of a sudden it's completely off the grid. So there's nothing on the internet no more about that. Like there's just the original articles and that's it. Right? So something else is about to pop up. Right? And if it's not that, I mean, it's going to be something else. I mean, it's going to be something else. I mean, the real IDs, the new IDs that we have with the little stars, like all that's going to have the vaccine shit on it, and this has been around for a couple years now. And I've been knowing this. Like I knew that there was going to be a sickness. I knew that there was going to be a vaccine, because that was one of the main reasons why they brought around this ID to begin with. Interpol and everything about us is going to be on these IDs. It's already on these IDs. So, I mean, in my mind, I already knew they were going down this route.
Since COVID, if you fly, you don't need to, you just scan your ID.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody's thinking about
the
that.
back of, you just stick your
Mhm,
driver's
mhm,
license into the slot and pull it out and you're good.
Yep.
That's all
And
you
that's
have to
fucking
do.
terrifying. It's
So
terrifying.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, they were talking about depopulating a long time ago, a couple years ago. So, I mean, you look at what the 1% is doing, and that's how you're going to know. It's like driving really fast down a freeway. If you're only looking one or two cars in front of you, you're going to crash, or you're going to look like that dumbass that's going from lane to lane and not actually going nowhere. You got to look 5 or 6 cars ahead of you. You got to see the motion of the actual freeway. That's what the 1% does. You see what they do. And they pulled out the American dollar a couple years ago. What was it, 2 years ago? So I mean, the dollar about to fall. I mean, that's why I was saying the revolution will not be televised. It's we in it right now. It's happening.
no, it's happening. And then you're
Mhm.
right. It's not being televised because they're not allowing it to be televised, and they're
That
continuing
part.
to push the
Mhm.
propaganda.
Yes, it's insane. It's insane. There's this underbelly of Instagram that just has so much knowledge and amazingness on it, and it's just so censored now.
Yeah.
Like I have to go into my followers list to actually look up these accounts now because I can't search them. They won't come up. You
Yeah.
know, I liked posts because normally I'll screenshot, because if you like certain posts, it'll put you up in a certain, I'm already in so many fucking databases, probably. I already know that I am, but all of a sudden I couldn't look up who I had previously searched for
Mm-hmm.
after liking this certain post. And I don't really post anything because me is real life. I don't do the social media shit. Let me see you in real life. Let me see you face to face. Let's have this conversation face to face.
Mm. Yeah. They're censoring a lot. As soon as you
Mm-hmm.
see something, it's down.
Mm-hmm.
I've shared things, many things. If I look in my history of what I
It's not
shared,
there.
it's not there anymore.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I mean, I've shared things and people haven't even gotten a chance to actually look at it because that's how quickly they've pulled things down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, but they don't pull down the pictures of people being hanged. They don't pull down pictures of all the white people smiling next to them. They don't pull down any of those pictures. They
I
don't
mean,
pull
but
down the
part of that is propaganda in terms of making us feel um like second
that's
class citizens, making us
that's the
feel like this
psychological
could happen
warfare.
again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's
it's up there
exactly what
for a
I was
reason
talking
now.
about.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
all that's that relationship shit I was telling you about. When you see people who are in abusive relationships, that's all psychological.
Mhm.
This is just a crazy, and that's, yeah. I don't know if that analogy is necessarily a good one or not, but it seems to work the best with trying to get whiteys to understand the gravity of what I'm trying, because they get so caught up on that it's defensiveness. Like, I ain't said you one time. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about this other female, but you getting defensive now like I'm talking about you. So what's going on with you right now? Why are you so angry? Becky, get the fuck out of my face.
yeah, it's kind of like you're saying about back to the COVID. There's an engineered pestilence aimed at a certain demographic
Mhm.
in order
And it
to
didn't work. Yeah.
right, in order to help another demographic
Extinguish.
maintain their
Mhm.
stronghold.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's not going, even by keeping the KKK alive, even by keeping active members in the police system after everything, they still have not been able to succeed. You feel me? You look at every entity that has come up and risen from the quote ashes, and they have to go ahead and bomb it. They gotta murder everybody. They got, because it's an inferiority complex. It's a deeply seated inferiority complex that white people have, and they don't realize they have it. Hence, me, I come and I pop that little fucking bubble, and I let them know you living in a fucking illusion.
What do you
You can't
think
call the
about
police on me.
what do
Huh?
you think about the vaccine?
Don't even get me started on the vaccine. You know, you have to get it numerous times.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no.
So there's like
That's
a
like the
nationwide
Tuskegee experiment. Am I saying that Tuskegee?
mhm.
I don't think I'm saying it right, but yeah, that's what came to my mind first.
There's like a nationwide push now to
Warp speed, Operation Warp Speed.
try to convince people of color that the vaccine is safe.
Look at
Like
the first people
they
that
had
they
the
gave
black
it to.
nurse that
Yeah, they were all
they gave
black.
it to.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up, because when I saw that, I was like, and look who they have administering it.
A black doctor.
So they can't even, exactly. So now you got all these whiteys going, oh, see, it's not us. Not looking at the puppet behind the motherfucking scenes.
But the claim is that people in communities of color are being affected disproportionately, and that we need to get the vaccine to help us. That's the claim, that they want to help us.
When have they ever wanted to? Why the fuck would they start now?
I mean, but we've not, I mean, who has looked at the statistics?
And you think those are real?
That's
Look
what
at the
I'm saying.
statistics of the population in
I
California.
looked
That's
at
all a
the
lie.
statistics in the state of Georgia. I looked at them. And let me tell you, I went to the CDC website. And when I say statistics are they're so far buried into the, like you would think that if COVID was the issue that this pandemic was the front and center main issue that we're having, that from the front page of the CDC website, I should have been able to click right on something that said COVID-19 statistics. I had to look through pages and pages. Then to get to the state of Georgia, it was like a running list. I couldn't even like type in to a field and say Georgia and get to Georgia. I had to go through Alabama, Arkansas. It went alphabetically. And I'm thinking,
I'm not surprised.
The CDC website. Now we know we have some people who have some technological skills that are far beyond this. And it took me like 10 to 15 minutes just to navigate to Georgia. And then when I looked at the statistics were just the majority of the people who had passed away. First of all, the way that they broke it down was COVID-19, like deaths by themselves, COVID-19 and pneumonia, COVID-19 and influenza, COVID-19 and something else. So the majority of the people who passed away were definitely people like over, and understand that I'm not saying that people over a certain age that they're expendable. Clearly, that's not what I'm saying. But the majority of them were older people who had comorbid issues and other issues, and that in any other circumstance would have been vulnerable to anything else, to the flu, to pneumonia, to whatever else that came out. So, I mean, what they keep saying is they will create the situation, they will create the reaction, and then they will come with the solution. So they create everything. You start out with this is what we're going to, I mean, let's look at 9/11. They had something they wanted to accomplish with that. So they create the distraction. Oh, we have a bomb. Everybody's afraid. Oh my God, the reaction. Oh my goodness. Now here's the solution.
Well, no, that was killing like 2 or 3 birds with one stone situation.
Absolutely. I mean, and then you find out years later that what they said happened didn't even happen.
Exactly. And yet still talking about it, you seem like a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, no, I've been saying this from jump. Have you ever seen what a plane looks like after a bird, a seagull, after a seagull gets hit by a plane, the damage that little seagull does? And you tell me that it went into a whole steel building? That makes no sense.
First of all, on the 70-something floor, and the entire building collapsed like
it was a free fall.
It was a free fall. Imploded. And then the building next door that never got hit fell down.
Well, in the Pentagon, I mean, they had just found all that money missing the day
There you go.
before. It was like a
What
billion something dollars.
exactly. So all I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying
not stupid.
what they've
I've
been
been knowing a lot of stuff.
for many, many years, and this is why, I mean, and COVID is no different. They kind of
No, it's
tested
not.
out with Ebola. They kind of got us worked up, like, oh, Ebola,
The swine flu.
swine flu. So we kind of worked our way up. Now we're at COVID. I mean, and what I'm,
And the thing is,
it's going to be
no, my bad. Keep going.
reset. Like that's the whole goal, is to really
Well, the
reset.
dollar is falling. Exactly.
Exactly, the dollar
It's a
is
new world order.
exactly, and it's so
Yeah,
this is
probably
the
no.
situation that is setting up for the reaction. And the sad part is that we become the ones who, when I say we, society, we are the ones who put forth their agenda. Oh, we need a vaccine, we need this, we have to be safe.
And literally nobody is saying that. Not one person has actually said that.
Yeah, well, the news, put it that way. The news.
Oh,
there are people
see, I
who
don't watch the news.
no, I don't watch the news
Period.
either,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that's
Oh,
what,
little clips and stuff.
and then there are
Yeah.
some people who feel like they want a vaccine. There are people who would like to just have a quick fix. Like, give me a vaccine, give me something. You know, it's
And the
really,
thing is, they saying that the vaccine isn't even a cure. It's not even going to keep you from catching it.
I don't get
That's
the,
literally, I have a screenshot, and that's from a CDC web or the FDA or whatever acronym it is. They literally, I screenshot it because I know it's probably not going to be around for very much longer. But they're literally saying that this, I'm sorry?
I work in healthcare, so it's particularly bothersome for me because right now it's optional, but
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
just a
baby
matter
girl,
of
it's not
time
gonna be like
before it
that.
becomes
Yep,
like the flu shot, and
that's
then
that
they're going to
real
be
ID.
forcing us to get it.
yeah. So are you
Yeah,
seeing
that's the
a
real
lot of
ID.
people impacted? Like, are you seeing a lot of mortality in the healthcare industry from COVID?
Not mortality, no, but in the hospital I do see a lot of people that test positive for it.
Right.
But as
Nobody
far as
dying.
the mortalities, I think that's really amped up by the media.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said, it's they have a goal. They want to create a scare so they can then come in and give you, oh, here's the solution, here's the vaccine.
So,
And it's working.
it's like the flu. I
It's
try to
working.
tell people it's like the
Yeah,
flu.
it is.
If they promoted the flu the way that they are doing COVID, we would be we would be afraid. Like if they just got on TV and said, oh my God, the flu rates are out of control.
Well, because flu does actually kill a lot of people every
That's
year.
my point. If people looked at the statistics of how many people die from the flu each year, they would be just as afraid. But because
honestly,
publicizes it, people don't get afraid. But and let's give it, I will say COVID might be a little bit different in terms of the impact on your lungs and stuff like that. But the mortality rates, they are definitely amping them up. They're making people afraid. And then being afraid lowers your resistance.
makes you more susceptible.
So you're more susceptible.
So does stress.
Not getting vitamin D, not exercising, not having any kind of interpersonal, contact with people, things that we need. They have said, don't do these things, which is insane. So yes, I mean, it's insane. I told my dad, who's been cooped up for months, wearing gloves and masks. I'm like, well, when they release the restrictions, you better make sure that you don't go outside because you're going to get sick as soon as you walk out because you've been.
Your immune system is going to, yeah, exactly.
You can't do
See,
that.
Yeah, I be wearing the mask and it hurts me. Like I literally, because I'm a smoker. And so that's why I'm noticing it a lot more. Like that's CO2. We have CO2 detectors for a fucking reason. We're not supposed to survive on that. So as a smoker, I'm already, like when I start moving, when I'm moving around a store and like carrying shit, you don't realize how much you're breathing. And all of a sudden I get out this store, I take the mask off and my chest hurts. I'm like, why does my chest hurt? Because I ain't getting no damn oxygen.
And you're not in LA.
Well, yeah, LA has a lot cleaner air though than Dallas.
Really?
Yes. I've never had an air advisory warning in my life until I moved to Dallas. They actually have air advisory warnings saying if you can stay home. Isn't that some white shit to fucking
Well,
say?
I mean,
Bitch,
I've
I
heard
got
of
a whole
that because
job. How am I gonna
I've
stay
heard of
home?
that because of the quality of the air, because of the heat and stuff. But okay,
Oh no, it wouldn't be on hot days. It
okay.
would, and it's for the ozone layer. They're saying the ozone layer has extra pollution on that day or something like that. All our buses in LA are the clean fuel. They have been for a long time. Like, and all this extra, we got smog checks. Like we literally have smog. Dallas doesn't have smog checks.
So
You will literally see black smoke coming up out of trucks.
what do you think about Gavin Newsom sitting
Who?
there eating at the Napa Valley without his mask on while he's locking down everybody else in the state?
Wait,
of
who are you talking about?
The governor of California.
Oh, we got a new governor.
Oh,
All our
okay,
governors are shitty. So I don't, my bad, but I don't, oh, I did hear about that lockdown though, where it was really confusing. You know, he said nobody can do anything except for unless if you work or do this or do this. And it's like, okay, that makes absolutely no sense. But I mean, in my opinion, with how everything is run back home, they want martial law. How they've been treating everybody. I mean, they're wanting the tensions to rise and they want martial law because once martial law goes into effect in California and the rest of the country sees LA on fire again, it's going to incite other ones throughout. And then once they have martial law at a certain amount of places, all of a sudden the banks can come in. Now, this is what Obama did when he was in office. He signed a thing saying that if we go into martial law, the banks have access and can do anything that they want throughout that martial law process with no repercussions. So they can freeze everybody's assets for no reason, use that money, and then once martial law isn't in effect anymore and everything goes back to normal, they don't have to replace that money.
Executive order?
Yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure it was Obama, but I could be mistaken, and it could have been one of the first things Trump did. But I want to say that I'm like between like 60 and 70% sure that it was Obama. But that is real. Like you can look, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but that is real. Like if we go into martial law, the banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all of these banks are going to run everything.
So Bank of America had something come up with LA where they seized and took people's unemployment money recently.
Yep.
Took all of their,
I'm not
surprised.
surprised.
They froze their accounts and took all of their money.
I'm not surprised at all.
And listen,
at all.
The I mean, this is that to me kind of go falling in line with that economic reset, that reset that they're trying to implement.
And that's what they don't want to do because white people will never be able to rise. The only reason why they have what they have is because they stepped on the backs of other people and killed the other half.
Right, but this will be just a control. This will be a more of a digital controlling of everyone versus the paper. So the dollar would be eliminated and it will be digital, and they will really
like
now
that Bitcoin stuff.
We can purchase things without people knowing what we purchase. What if we get to a point where there is no dollar and everything is digital and everything is traceable? I mean,
then I'm gonna get gold.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're out here bartering, and
gold is always going to be able to be used.
I understand that, but not everybody is going to be able to do that. The common person is not going to have gold. They're going to have to.
Oh, you're asking me like on a majority scale. Honestly.
Scale. So that's what they're saying this reset is supposed to be about. It's total control. Like, the dollar would
that
be
new world order.
Yeah.
See, and that's something that I haven't necessarily dived into because for me, it is a very slippery slope going down the rabbit hole. And dealing with whiteys on the level that I'm dealing with them already, it will be so easy for me to slip into that hole and just be completely consumed. You know, that anger that you were talking about earlier in the very beginning of this whole meeting, that's what I would become. You feel me? If I literally don't, because this is making me very angry. You know, like I'm thinking this is no, call me old fashioned. I don't want to do none of that digital. I know it's coming, but I've just kind of been doing one of those things where I've just been sitting back and it's
Oh,
going to happen when it's going to happen. I'll make sure that I'm prepared
it's coming
and
and
I'm protected.
it's here. So that's the thing. I mean, it's almost like when you're moving through the phases of awakening, it's almost like the phases, you know, the stages of grief. You know, first you're in disbelief, then you're angry, then you're like, okay, and then eventually you get to a point where you feel like you're so powerful that no matter what goes on, you're going to be good because you don't answer to anybody here on this. Like you don't answer to anybody here. So therefore, no one here can really control who you are and what
basically. And you know, that's kind of where honestly I'm at with all of that. Like, I'm not really worried. I know that I'm gonna be protected because I know how to survive. You feel me? And that might be why I've never actually known how to live. Those are two completely separate things. I don't necessarily know how to live. I know how to survive though. I know how to survive like a motherfucker, but living is something completely different. So I know that I'm gonna be good. You know, it's just the majority of people, and maybe that'll. I honestly don't know. That low key kind of terrified me a little bit, but everything happens for a reason. So you went ahead, you gave me, no, I'm more like not terrified, like, oh my God, I'm going to go hide. I can't handle it. Yeah. More of shit's about to get real.
Actually, I'm actually pretty excited. I mean, tell you the truth, because I think
I'll probably get to that point too.
That no one has control over. To me,
yeah,
things are happening that no one has control over. They can't control because we're so connected. There's nothing that anyone can do. And I feel that we're going through this frenzy because people are losing control and they recognize that the control is being lost. And this is the last ditch effort to try to keep the reins, you know, hold on.
The thing is,
there's nothing that they can do. And so we're going to ascend.
Basically.
And so I'm actually pretty
excited. Need to take these 5G towers down though. If we actually going to do that, that's the last ditch effort because those literally are put on a scale that if they turn all of them on, it's literally a fucking microwave. So and that's fact.
It does. You understand that, you know, we are 70% water. And
exactly.
When it gets to those levels that it interfaces with DNA, that it impacts your DNA, it impacts, it's like a microwave. It's
exactly. It's and so I mean, when you were speaking about all that, I mean, that's that last ditch effort. That's going to be that, oh, you don't want to do what we want you to do. All right, we're going to go ahead and push this little button. But yeah, that's that rabbit hole I was telling you about. It's really easy for me to just go on down that rabbit hole.